starting to flesh out Schaeffer's idea of how do we live out the lordship of Christ over the total culture. I think that our evangelical forebears made two respects in this area, which they have unfortunately bequeathed to many of us. First mistake was they seriously overestimated how deep the Christian influence on American culture was. Now, I think there has been a very strong and substantial and positive influence of biblical Christianity on American culture in many, many ways. But I think that, 50, 70 years ago, we were taking it for granted and seriously overestimating how deep it had gone. Traditional morality and the traditional family were in the 1950s being maintained out of habit, while any basis for those things in spiritual or even cultural commitment to their foundations was being hollowed out while we didn't even realize it. And so you had things that made us think we had a Christian culture because most people subscribed to traditional morality, whether they practiced it or not. And the traditional families looked pretty strong. You watched Leave It to Beaver, and their house did not seem like a completely unrealistic depiction of life. I can remember the 50s. And so, because we were looking on the surface, we didn't realize that we had a problem. But the foundations for those things were being hollowed out. How is that happening? Well, our failure to practice the Great Commission as it was given, to make disciples, not just converts, meant that the foundations of our Judeo-Christian culture were being undermined even while we thought we were being successful in reaching people with the gospel. Too many of our converts were not truly born again, and hardly any of them were taught the Christian worldview, much less sound doctrine. So that was our first mistake. We seriously underestimated how deep the Christian influence in American culture actually was. And when you combine that with the mistake we talked about in past lessons of our misinterpretation of the Great Commission, that was a very, very toxic combination, so that in another generation, the culture was going to seem like it suddenly and strangely got to places that shocked us and disturbed us greatly. When we got to the 70s and Roe v. Wade, that was one of the things that was a real wake-up call. How did we let this happen? We shouldn't have been shocked at all. And in fact, if we'd been doing our job, it probably never would have happened.